Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So we will be doing the Tafsir of Surah Al-baqarah. This will be only on the first ayah. الذي عده الكوفيون آية. Inshallah. But before we start, we have to mention the methodology of Sheikh Islam Mansour, because I will be using him for grading the narrations that I'm going to mention, especially the athar. Okay. So he used the methodology that scholars use when grading hadith related to halal and haram and stuff related to aqidah, because they are strict, you can say, compared to narration for tafsir of Quran. So he used their methodology and applied it in tafsir. And you will see that the scholars say that usually in tafsir we are more lenient, natasahal fihi. But I actually agree what he did, and I think it is much more beneficial and it is much more clearer, and I will mention why. And I will say, when do we apply leniency? Or where or when do we apply leniency? So when you use the methodology that the scholars used for hadith related to halal and haram and apply it on tafsir, it becomes much more clearer, as you can know which one is actually stronger as a explanation for this verse. So you either the other narration, because if you are lenient, a narration which is weak you might say is authentic, and a narration which is authentic you already said it is authentic. So someone might not know which one is stronger as an explanation for this verse. Now someone can say, okay, this is only for the expert, but it's actually make it clearer for everyone, because even expert, they don't know all the narrators. They also have to go back in their book to check. But when someone already mentioned that it is weak and they give their reason, it becomes easier for him to check. And this is what Sheikh Islam Mansour does, and almost everywhere he repeats it. Even though he mentioned it before, he still write it down, the reason why it is weak. Secondly, and this is where the leniency comes, when we write it, we should write it using the methodology of just like when we use for hadith related to halal and haram, and then we let the reader use their leniency as they see it fit. So this is where the leniency comes. It should come from the reader. But when writing it down and grading, it is better to write it using the lens of just like you are dealing with halal and haram, because it makes it easy or much more clearer for the reader. And now the reader can easily use his leniency. So let's say as a narrator which is laysa bil qawi, Nasa'i say laysa bil qawi, and you can say that Abu Hatim al-Razi and Yahya ibn Ma'in, when they say laysa bil qawi, it is actually on the same level. And when Abu Hatim al-Razi say mahalluhu was-sidq, you can say it is just like laysa bil qawi, or someone might say in between laysa bi ba's and laysa bil qawi, but it is similar. So when I see that, I may use my leniency and say, okay, I accept this this explanation for this verse, especially if it makes sense. So this is where I believe the leniency should be from the reader. But when writing the book, it is better to write using the lens of just like the muhaddithin they use when look at halal and haram, because it make it clear But if you start using leniency and write it on the book, it is not that clear. Allahu A'lam. So that's why I'm very happy what he did, alhamdulillah, and that's why I agree with it, inshallah. Now let's start. Alif Lam Mim. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألف لام ميم. It is narrated from Ibn Mas'ud that he said the likes of that this is from the biggest name of Allah. And Sheikh Islam Mansur graded it as Hasan. There's another narration from Ibn Abbas that said هو قسم أقسم الله به وهو من أسماء الله. It is an oath that Allah has taken an oath by, and it is from the names of Allah. And this narration is weak. And we know that Allah take an oath by His own name. تَاللَّهِ لَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا. So Allah take an oath by His own name. So here is saying the same thing. It is an oath that Allah has taken an oath by, and it is from the names of Allah. So now we see similarities between the first narration, which says it is the biggest name of Allah. The likes of it is the biggest name of Allah. And the second narration that says it is from the names of Allah. It just added that it is an oath. Now our third narration is from Ikrima, which is a tabi'i, and this narration is authentic. It says Alif Lam Mim Qasamun. It is an oath. So now we can say, okay, Alif Lam Mim, it is an oath, and we can also say it has something to do with the name of Allah. Okay. There's a fourth narration, again from Ibn Abbas and Ibn Mas'ud. Where is it? And it is from the Tariq of Asbat, who narrates from As-Suddi. They said, let me find it. Yes, أما ألف لام ميم فهو حرف اشتق من حروف هجاء أسماء الله جل ثناؤه. They said Alif Lam Mim فهو it is a letter derived from the letters of alphabet is the name of Allah. So the name of Allah derived from the letters of alphabet is the name of Allah. So again you can see again something related to the name of Allah. Now this narration is weak, and this is the last narration I'm going to mention from the Salaf. There's another narration, or there are other narrations that I did not mention. I will mention why. But before that, let me mention one that I did not mention. Again, it is a weak narration that says that Alif, basically Alif Lam Mim is from the name of Allah, and Alif means this, Lam means this, Mim means this. So now, why did I not mention the other narrations? First of all, these narrations are weak, and also I believe this is sufficient, inshallah. It gives you the idea. And you will see Tabari, this narration that I mentioned, you will see that he separates it as if it is I will not say that he makes it as if it is different, but I've put it together because it is close to each other in terms of meaning. So this is the first interpretation of Alif Lam Mim. Second interpretation of Alif Lam Mim, some scholars say that it is like saying to the Arabs, these are the letters that you know. You use them every day, and yet you cannot come with a Quran similar to it. So it is like mocking them and challenging them. So this is the second interpretation of Alif Lam Mim. There's a third interpretation which you will hear, that this has, I'm not saying Alif Lam Mim, but in a general context, you can say that this has relation to what is mentioned in the Old Testament in Isaiah chapter 28. So these people is talking about how they are drunk, etc. And they said to the prophet Isaiah, whom is he trying to teach? To whom is he explaining his message? To infants just weaned from milk? To babies removed from the breast? For they hear order on order, order on order, line on line, line on line, a little here, a little there. Now God said to them, after they were mocking Isaiah, say, why are you teaching us as if we are children? So now Allah respond to them, indeed, with mocking lips and foreign tongue, he will speak to these people. So in mocking lips and foreign tongue, just like the second interpretation, it is like mocking the Arabs. Like these are the letters that you use, and yet you cannot bring a Quran like it. So now this one is as if it is mocking the Jews. And coming with it says here, indeed with mocking lips and foreign tongue, he will speak to these people. And you know the Jew doesn't speak Arabic. To whom, indeed with mocking lips and foreign tongue, he will speak to these people, to whom he has said, this is the place of rest, let the weary rest. This is the place of repose, but they will not listen. Then the word of the Lord to them will become order on order, order on order, line on line, line on line, a little here, a little there. So they will say that, as we know, the Quran was not revealed dufatan wahida, rather it was revealed at a period of time. So a little here, a little there, a little here, a little there, order on order, order on order. If we go with this translation, but when we look at the Hebrew, it says la sov, sov la sov, sov la sov, qov la qov, qov la qov. And this is, if we look at it in Arabic, it corresponds to the letter Sod and Qaf. And we have a chapter named Sod and a chapter named Qaf. And both start with their respective letters. So chapter Sod start with Sod. Chapter Qaf start with Qaf. So after mentioning that, so the tafsir of this is that he will be speaking to the Jews with a foreign tongue, mocking them, teaching them as if they are infant. Say alif, ba, ta, tha, qaf, sod, etc. Because they mocked Isaiah, saying, you're teaching us, do you think we are children? So this is the third interpretation of it. So if you want to combine all three, you can say, okay, some is related to the name of Allah and it is an oath. Some is mocking the Arabs, saying that this is from your letters and yet you cannot bring a Quran similar to it. And some is when mocking the Jews because of what they did, like mocking when they mock the Prophet, then God said, okay, then in foreign tongue he will speak to them. So that's it, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi وبركاته.